Hello preppers and homesteaders. I've got a good topic for you today. I'll do this as I walk around. You can enjoy the beauty out here. So what if your dream of homesteading could not only sustain you now, but also gracefully adapt until you get older, even into your 80s or 90s? Because most people plan homesteads and they don't think of one thing that affects us all, and that is time. We've got a lot of strategies that we're planning here that I think a lot of people overlook, preppers, homesteaders, whatnot. They just don't think about things. I'm gonna get into that now. As my FedEx driver would think, I shouldn't be out here because I could slip and fall on the ice and break a hip. But some of the things we're doing on this property, I wanna show you and why we're doing them and how it is hopefully gonna help us as we age. So one of the things I've had are chickens. Obviously we have little portable chicken tractors. That's one of those items that right now they're pretty easy to move around. We got to lift up the levers. We move them around. We obviously don't do it in the snow, but right now it's still fun to move them around. Long term, our plan, and I'm going to go over here right now, we have our solar panels, and underneath them, take a look at this. Wow, I'm walking on the snow and I'm not even sinking. This stuff's hard as a rock. So if you look underneath here, it is dry. The end of it still gets some sun, but it is dry. And it's a great spot for chickens. So that's our long term. As you can see on here too, oops, sorry, I just slipped on some ice. Our panels completely exposed. I didn't touch them. In our old property in Wisconsin, I had to come out here with a squeegee and a broom on a 12-foot pole and clean the panels off. These panels, when we designed this system, our system is oversized. So we could run our whole property on, for most of the day, on a third of these panels. So the first day of the snowstorm out here, we had, the panels were 100% covered. Just ran off of battery or I pulled from the grid because I'm attached to both. And it's kind of like 0% financing. When I could use other people's money, I will, and I have so much credit built up because we overproduce all the time with the electric company. I have free power with the electric company. So when we had a snowstorm like this, I will pull from the grid, keep my batteries at 100%, and then in a short amount of time, the sun in general will start melting the panels, and within the first day after the storm, I had about a third of the panels exposed already. The bottom, you can see the snow down there at the bottom. It starts sliding off and then it'll expose the bottom half first, and that will power and replenish what we used up from the electric company. And then the next day it just keeps melting more and it just keeps running down. I don't know if you can see it right now. Me personally looking, there's a mirage from the heat on the panels because they're pretty warm from the sun. You know, they're a darker color. And they're also, show you this, they are bifacial, which means the backside is also generating power too. So the snow reflecting off back here is helping the backside. So what does that all mean? We put in place a system that is low maintenance. I don't have to come out here and clean the panels like I used to on our old property. And when I'm older, it's gonna be a lot nicer because I don't have to do this. You know, at our old property, shoveling off the panels was not fun. Here, I don't even do it, I don't have to. We designed it, we thought about things a lot. The big plan is, God willing, we're gonna get old here and we wanna do things right. And our infrastructure system was priority number one. Like I said, if anybody's watched some of the earlier videos, you know, we're not millionaires, we're not, you know, rich people, but what we did, we sold our old home, we took that budget and we subtracted things from our budget for the new home. So well, water catchment, solar, storm shelter, we had to subtract that off of the money we had to buy a home. So that also ate into the amount of land we could purchase, how big of a house we could purchase, but it also set up from day one almost. It took a little bit of time, but our infrastructure for the most part was in place. Our water catchment system is still not 100%, but I'm working on it now while I'm young and able-bodied. So young-ish and able-bodied, but we have redundant multiple systems. I just need to refine it a little bit. But rain catchment out here, you can set up rain catchment. So for the garden, for the animals, you have really good ways to catch that. And I'm adding on to our rain catchment system. I just got those IBC totes. They're 270 gallons a piece. These are food grade ones. They held flaxseed oil in them at one time, so they're washed out. I just need to get them in place. And then we have on the blue building over here, you can see down over there, we've got some 55-gallon drums over there. We have another 55-gallon drum over there. There's another one back there. And then in the building back over there, I've got another 1,200-gallon tank inside. So water, water, water is life. When you're older, you don't want to be hauling, you know, we lose power, the grid goes down, our solar system goes down. We don't want to have to be hauling water when we're older. We want to have good water systems in place. You know, shelter, food, water, infrastructure, power. Power equals comfort. We have our mini splits on the property in multiple buildings, redundancy. The little blue building back here has its own mini split. Our pantry has a mini split. The main house has a mini split. The other building has a mini split, all powered by the solar system. Mini splits have a long service life and they are very efficient. So if you're doing off-grid, hybrid, on-grid, off-grid, they are the way to go in this area. And low maintenance. As you can see, even in the winter, we've got snow melt and all of our barrels are topped off completely. So in the summertime, we do put screens over them, keep the bugs out. Wintertime, we don't have to worry about the leaves, so we're not as worried. But I'm gonna have to do a whole episode on the big tank. It's in the other building because that one has a first flush system and it has a leaf eater system. So what that does is when all the rain comes down the roof and into the gutters, you got to think about it. There's pollen, there's bird poop, there's dead bugs and stuff. The first flush system, it flushes so much gallons you have to calculate first, and then it automatically shuts off and then diverts the water to your filtration system and then into the storage tank. So it's kind of a neat system. We don't use it on a lot of the smaller catchments because those are just for the gardens. Those are just for the, you know, the animals. We do the screens for the animals to keep the bugs out and all the debris so they have, you know, clean water. It's a whole nother video on itself. Now I'm gonna go into this because one of the other things is gardening. So right now we don't have a greenhouse. If you look at the space, it's the lean-to on the back of the house, and it's got the right exposure that we need according to my wife. I'm not a gardener, she's the gardener. And we're gonna actually enclose this and make this into our greenhouse. So those water tanks that I was telling you about that I have over there, those black IBC totes, they're gonna go against the wall back here. And then we already have electric in here, we have water in here. Right now, it's winterized though, but we have water in here and everything. So we just need to enclose it and it'll be a nice level space that we could use to garden even when we're older. Now, as for gardens, like my wife said, we have a plan. Infrastructure, water systems, all that, we want to have that done. I would say we have a majority of it, but I would say a 10-year plan. You know, I just turned 50. That'll put me at 60. Gives me plenty of time to get things in place. But like right now, for gardens, we've got these water tanks, animal water tanks. And as you can see over here, this is what Jenny used for her garden this year. She did the Hugo culture, so the bottom was logs, you know, leaves, just all types of compost, and then layer of dirt on top. These are nice and easy to use. You don't have to bend over, get on your knees, very easy to garden. And then she terraced them up on the railing up here, and we had the start of the garden. So she's gonna do this other one right here, and that's gonna go on the end over there by those water barrels. And then, if you can look out here, where these hay bales are, this whole front yard, we don't need a yard. We don't need a, you know, it's not like in the Midwest where you have your treasured, beloved, manicured lawn. To us, the lawn means nothing. So we are going to put, this whole area is planning to be gardens that will hopefully be in place. The infrastructure will be set up. And with that infrastructure set up, it'll be very low maintenance when we're older. So we'll have all this. This building, we still don't know what we're doing with it. Right now, it is just conditioned. By that, I mean heated, air-conditioned storage space and workspace. I've got a workshop in there too, but we have another bathroom in there, so it's our kind of guest accommodations. But as you can see, I'll take you down there because it's hard to explain, but as we get older, I'm gonna take you down to the now this hill here, it doesn't look that treacherous, but I've actually, in the dark, I've fallen down here, and I've fell down here a couple times. So this needs to be worked out. As you can see, it kind of, the terrain here is kind of weird. It slopes down, it drops down, and then now we're in a pit, and I'll turn around just so you can see how high we are. I mean, it drops down about a good, 4 feet, 5 feet. And then as you can see here, you're kind of in a little trench here, and it needs to be fixed. So more than likely, either a smoothened out path without rocks, because that's usually what I trip on, the rocks over here, they're just everywhere. Or change the direction where I just don't walk that way anymore and I come around this way, as it's a very subtle slope going this way. Wow, I'm all on ice. I'm gonna break a hip. So we have that. But like I said, this building, right now, we don't know what we're doing. It's still kind of in the unknown phase. I use it for storage, but you can see we've got gutters on all these. Gutters on this building. This building we kind of want to move. Right now, the only thing in this building is my tractor, and I'll show you that. I mean, it's kind of waste of space for us. We don't know fully what we're gonna do. So you can see the tractor's in here, lots of waste space. So it needs to be cleaned out. As you can see where these tires are and those wooden boxes, I've made a partition, and as far back as the tractor is as far back as I can go. When we bought this property, the whole floor in here was nuts, screws, nails, pretty much anything metal that could pop a tire. So I've had to go through here with a magnet and a rake and just clean up in here and get it all set up so I can drive the machine in here and store it in here. I used to store the UTV in here, but there's no power in here, and my battery, I need a new battery. This is one of those buildings that it's just a weird size. It's more of like a carport, but as you can see right here, it doesn't look that steep, but here's the front door. And if you look here, you got to like drive up a ramp, and it's really steep. Like, it doesn't look it, but it's steep. And when I'm 70 or 80, I don't want to be driving a vehicle up this. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get the tractor out every time I want to use it. So I'll show you a couple other things on the property that we need to do to make it a little bit better. And one of the things I've mentioned to somebody else on our property too, our main house, it is one level, no stairs. One of the things on my dream list when we were shopping for properties, I actually am on ice right now. It's kind of slippery. The wife was not lying that I should be really careful. And yes, to my FedEx driver, I'll try not to break a hip. You can see I've got more water here dripping, but our house. When we were shopping for a house, I really wanted a, what do they call it? A chalet style with the big great room. And then, you know, the staircase going up with the big loft where you could look through the big triangular windows. And we went and looked at some houses that actually had that. And they were pretty much a dream come true. And one of the houses, though, I almost fell down the stairs because they were not to code, which a lot of things out here are not. And there were some, like, still some masking tape from painting around the trim about 40 feet up in the air in the great room. And I was like, how am I going to maintain that when I'm older? It's one of those, like, so when we found this house, like, this is one of those weird ones. Like, Jenny loved it on paper. She loved it when we saw it. It took me a while to warm up to the property. The land itself is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've got the big mountain range behind me. The Grand Canyon is right over there of Arkansas. You know, just this area is just epic. But the house kind of warmed up to me, but then she had a lot of good points. It's a single level house with no stairs. When we get old, our old house had multiple stairs. The person we bought it from, they had an elevator installed because they got old. We bought it from somebody who they built it. They lived there their whole life. And it was more or less set up for long-term homesteading, which was nice. This property was also, we have got lucky that we purchased properties, the last two homes, and this one, God willing, is our last, but the last two, this one and the previous homestead, were both purchased from somebody who had lived there since it was built. They built it, they aged on the property, and they did upgrades to help with aging. So this property, everything is fairly laid out good around the buildings, accessibility. Our storm shelter is wheelchair accessible. The house already is just flat open and is easy to get around. No, there is one staircase-ish. Our house actually has a crawl space. Since it's a barn dominium, there is a drop ceiling that's, you know, knotty pine wood, looks like a cabin inside. But you can access up there to get to the wiring and whatnot. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to get up there. I have to climb up there on a ladder. And so my goal is to fix everything possible up there, still have it accessible because most contractors are younger guys and they will have no problem. But on the same note, like our bathroom, it had the handrails installed already by the toilet in the shower. You know, everything was set up for somebody who was older. And a lot of these young people buy houses that are like that and they remove all that stuff and they forget that they're going to get old. The other thing somebody mentioned, we love wood heat. I love wood heat. We have our wood stove. I love it. Absolutely love it. Do I want to be chopping wood and splitting wood when I am in my 70s and 80s? God willing, maybe I still can. More than likely, according to my father, I probably can until I'm in my 80s, if I'm as lucky as him. But he said in his 80s, he has slowed down. And one of the things that I've learned is I try to learn from older people. And believe it or not, a lot of my neighbors out here in this area are in their 80s. So don't think you can't live this lifestyle and be older. You just need to do certain things. But one of the things, I'm going to show you this right now. So I did some videos where we would buy first cuts. These are first cuts. What a first cut is when a sawmill puts a log in the sawmill and they do the first slice. So one side is flat from the saw blade and the other side is round. Can't really see these that good because, but you can get an idea. If you look at these, you can see them there. They're kind of, now these ones are cedar pine, but these are $20 a trailer load, like a big trailer load. My trailer could barely hold it for the pine ones. When I was at the mill, they have tons of these, piles of these. And the man was at the mill was like, do you need hardwood? I'll sell you the hardwood for the same price. So my theory is When I get older, if I don't want to go out and chainsaw wood, I'll buy first cuts. Right now, they're $20 a trailer load, like as big trailer load as you can think of. I like what the guy told me. When I went to the sawmill, he said a trailer load bundled up is $20. If you want half a bundle, it's $40. If you want a quarter of a bundle, it's $40. But a bundle is $20. So more or less, they want to just pick it up on their forklift, drop it down in the trailer, and there you go. But you get the hardwood, you get your little electric chop saw, and you can just sit there and sit in your heated workshop and just chop bundles, put them in small totes, bring it in the house, and just feed it into the fire when you get older. And then if that doesn't work, we have our mini split, which is electric heat. And we also have propane heat. So we have redundant heating. So right now we have 3 heating systems in place that, God willing, I will hope to use the wood as long as I can. And then we will use the mini splits for everything else. I mean, right now that building over there is everything is heated with the mini splits. And we keep all the buildings, our pantry, the workshop, all that, I keep them at 60 degrees and have had no problems whatsoever. Obviously the house, we enjoy some comfort. We like it over 70 in the winter just to come in and just have that toasty. But like I said, our mini split would not heat the house above 70. So with the addition of our wood stove, we're able to get the house like 76, pushing 80 degrees easily, which I like. And then you have that wood stove heat is just a warm, it's hard to explain, but it's just a different kind of heat. And it just warms you up so good. So I don't want to get rid of that if I don't have to. But let me show you this. So this is literally the only space right now on the property with stairs for the most part. So this long term right now, we re-insulated it. I did the spray foam, slowly working on this. I got to do knotty pine on the inside. This has its own mini split. I need to do skirting around it. And this building is going to be just a guest cabin, more than likely, a dry cabin. We might have a compost toilet in there, but once we get a compost toilet in there, it'll be a nice guest space. And who knows, maybe one of the future proofing plans you could consider, we do not have any kids, but we have nieces and nephews. Maybe one day they would want to live here, and when you get older, let your children or nieces live on the property for free as long as they help out. I mean, how good would that be? You're older, your kids can just come live on your property, or your niece or nephew, they can work, help you out, they can chop the wood, we can all enjoy the wood stove, you know, things like that. Have space on here where they can live. Like I always joke, this spot where this building that I'm not really that fond of right over here, the garage, if I got rid of it, it would make a nice spot for a house, possibly. Or like I said, the second building that we don't know we're doing yet, we can make an apartment in there. There's lots of things you can do to future-proof the property. But the big things to think about early on, like we said, is infrastructure. You want to deal with that. And then make it as age-friendly as progression goes for when you get older. Like the other thing too, I will show you this. So the roof pitches, they are not that bad. I can get up there on a ladder on the roof up here, probably, you know, for a while still. And even this one over here is not bad. I've been up on there. I've been up on that other section over there. It's pretty easy to get up there. And I'm going to be doing a video on this soon. Our metal roof, the screws, we've got a few that are compromised and I'm getting a couple roof leaks. Nothing major, but nothing to freak out about, but it's one of those I knew about. You know, metal roofs last forever. The fastener systems usually do not. So I would love to hear what people think on their properties and what you can do to future-proof your properties. And maybe you're already at that point in your life where you've already done all of that and you're enjoying what you have done and what has worked and what hasn't worked. I'm still trying to come up with things. One of the beautiful things on our property is the access. Like I joked, it's top of a mountain. in a mountainous area, but you can get here in a small car. Like, it's not a rough road, it's easy to get to. Our ambulance service out here is a helicopter. The airfield is right across, is that direction, about maybe 5 minutes in my truck, driving a little peppy. So worst case scenario, I need airlift out of here, which one of my neighbors had to not too long ago, and it's less than 5 minutes to the airfield where the helicopter will land to get you out of here. So that's a good thing too to consider. Out here, it's just the way things are. So don't let that kind of scare you, because like I said, there are a lot of older people out here that live this lifestyle and homestead that are older. But I'm going to do a whole video on this too, because I'm going to go off into this though, but it kind of goes with the cost of homesteading and generational wealth. If you notice, Americans in general tell people to like leave home, start your own family, you know, get off on your own, have your own houses, pay your own property taxes. The smart thing to do would be to have all the family together. That was my ultimate dream. I want to get my whole family here. It'll probably never happen, but that was my dream. That is my dream. It probably will not happen, but it would be cool if it did. But so that's something to consider too. Maybe your family, everybody wants the homesteading dream. They like that lifestyle. You could, you know, kind of like Marty Rainey on Homestead Rescue. The family has that 40 acres where they all live on it. And how sweet is that? I mean, that's just as good as it gets in my book. Plan everything that, God willing, you're going to get old. And how am I going to do it when I'm older and maybe not able to do as much? So hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the comments on this one. I'm actually building in that building over there, I'm building a little studio. So when I do gear reviews and things like that, which I love doing reviews of stuff, I want to do like a little studio in there. I've got a bunch of surplus cool stuff like camo netting, practice rocket launcher, and some cool stuff to hang up on the walls. And I'm going to do that just for my own fun, but how cool would that be? Till next time, like I said, and I'd love to hear the comments. If anybody has also like questions of like, what are you going to do about this when you get older? Let me know, because I'd like to know. I might not have thought of it yet, and I'm still thinking of ways to do it. Okay, till next time. Thanks again. Bye. Till next time. Bye. Big camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt because it was a gift. And I love it. I do. So thanks again. Bye.